Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Michael Zinn. Here by myself, as you can see at the moment. Jesse will be joining soon. I've got this StreamYard program going where I've got this like backstage over here. So he calls in and he pops up and I can bring him in. But hold on a second. I want to add this video to the stream and I'm going to share it with you guys. This is what we did last week. First of all, hello, everybody. Hello. I see we got Tim. I see we got Angela. I see we got Ninja Kitty. I see we got all the regulars with us. Hello and welcome. Thank you for coming to Love is Law, our continuing conversation. Soon we will be inviting you guys to join us on screen and converse with us. And you're already in the text. What's up, Taylor? I see you there too. You're already in the text. I can bring your text up there. I can pop you guys up on screen. Hey, Taylor. What's up, Angela? Pretty cool. So I'm just waiting for Jesse, but the conversation right now we're going to have is about intention and living your life through intention and the power of intention and what does that even mean? What the heck is intention? So we're going to talk about that in a bit when Jesse joins us. But I do have some treats from, I think, last year or 2 years ago. Jesse did a live appearance at the Holistic Center for Soulful Living. It was like an acoustic appearance, and he had a saxophone player and a guitar player accompanying him. And it was supposed to be just an intimate performance, and it turned into like a VH1 behind the music. So he like kind of told these stories and ended the performance of the song and kind of told the story of the song. And I wish that I had more than just this one camera there and I set up to like actually record it, but I did have a camera there, fortunately. So let me just turn to this. Let me share this with you guys. What's up, Barry? I see you over there. Everybody say hello to Barry. What's up, Barry? Taylor, I'm going to have people join the conversation soon enough. We got to kind of figure out the logistics of that because it's easy enough to just send you a link and you just kind of click on it and you can do it on your phone, on your computer. It's kind of exciting new platform we're at. Anyway, this is Jesse. He's at the center, and I'm just going to play this damn video, and he's going to probably start talking and tell a story before he even starts playing. But here we go. Hold on.
You can agree all the best pop music is based on the best blues. Anybody who likes country music can agree all the best country music is based on the best blues. Anybody who likes rock music can agree all the best rock music is based on the best blues. So let's just go back in time a little bit and get us all on the same page again. So when I started to do this was the first one that came to mind for me, and this was the beginning of me trying to like test out my theory. It's called
All
Show.
good. I did the intro and I'm playing some video.
Yeah. Yeah. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, let's go. Hurry up, go, go. Hurry up, 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 it's about to blow. Shut up, hurry up, just go. Have I caught you at a bad time? Hands in the cookie jar, red like the face of Mars. Are you looking for some fools here? We know just what you are, empty suits and shiny smiles. Well, if you wanna be around for the future you're always talking about, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, let's go. Hurry up, go, go. Hurry up, 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 it's about to blow. Shut up, hurry up, just go. Do you need another lesson? Words in and out your ears, brain will be interferes. You don't wanna go to school here. Graduated soon and cool, won't back up until you're done. Well, if you wanna be around for the future you're always talking about, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, let's go. Hurry
will make the cures for the wrong disease. And I know it's hard to turn back, but we should. I need a little passion, please. I don't sense no urgency. No movement towards the clearer greater good. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, let's go. Hurry up, go, go. Hurry up, it's about to blow. Just up, hurry up, just go. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, let's go. Hurry up, go, go. Hurry up, shut up, hurry up, just go.
Yeah. Everybody doing?
Hey, what's up, Jesse?
Ah, life is good, man.
Yeah.
Things are really good. I'm just making notes for what I want to chat about. I always do a little angel card reading before we do class and before we do the show. And it's funny because like what I'm looking at here is very, I don't know. Doesn't really say what I just got from it. Like I don't think you show anybody else this and be like, oh, that's what it means. I don't know. But this is what I got from it. Bill, moment, just my note for later.
Cool.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Jesse Blaze Snyder, and this is my hetero life mate, Michael Zinn. my partner in spiritual crime, my partner in geeky crime is Aaron Sparrow. Out
You
here
never
in
told me that before.
Los
Interesting.
Angeles. Well, it's funny. That's what me and Aaron are usually like. That's like we got the Jay and Silent Bob reference, and then the one from I told you I love Star Wars Rogue One because I really like the depiction
Right.
of the Force through that character whose name I always forget, but the Asian blind guy who's got the friend who's like the big stocky dude with the big gun, and
Mhm.
Aaron considers himself the big stocky dude with the big gun, and I'm this crazy guy like using the Force, and you know I've had similar thoughts about you guys are different people. You're open to the spiritual path. I mean, he's very spiritual as well, but in his own way.
Sure.
And maybe me and you are a little bit more like on a more similar sort of spiritual path that
Mhm.
he doesn't. He and I were talking the other day, and it's a great conversation to get into because this is what I wanted to chat about in so many ways today.
People say,
About you know, we were just talking about how we've never gotten into a disagreement. That he and I don't really have any of that male machismo where
mhm.
we like talk about women like in ways that are sort of like pumping yourself up or
Right.
talk about our masculine attributes in ways that are pumping ourselves up. Like
Right.
we don't do any grandstanding.
Right.
But sometimes when we're just doing our own thing, people take it as such, or whatever.
Right.
But we're just confident guys. But at the same time, we're in touch with our feminine side, and we're sensitive, and we generally don't like put out that sort of vibe. And and Aaron said, Jesse, when you talk about angels and things like this, like you know I don't really like believe in that stuff, but I understand that you do, and I
Yeah.
get
He
it. Like,
lets you do it.
and he does believe in like his own like,
Sure.
I don't want to misquote my friend, but what I might say would be like possibly a slightly more traditionalist, some sort of a few biblical kind of views of it. Not that he's like a particularly dogmatic person or like I said, judgmental person or anything like that.
Right.
But maybe at least framed a little bit more in that way. Which I think sometimes when I talk about some of these things, it's not even that he doesn't even like he can't go where I'm going, so much as I'm probably just doing a disservice in really expressing what I really mean by so many of these things. But at the same
Right.
time, I'm somebody who like walks around and like when I'm relaxed and I'm in the shower or whatever, I'm talking to spirits and but eh, here's the thing that I've learned. The best things that I do are my artistic things. They're good because of my intuition. I'm a very intuitive person, and when I'm relaxed, things just sort of fall out of me, and
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
wonderful. The best things come out of me when I'm just like I'm at
Flow.
peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You're
and
flowing.
when I really started to see that and recognize that, really like my biggest fumbles was when I wasn't that, and
Mhm.
my greatest success was just being that. I started to try to live that way, and in trying to live that way, I opened myself up to this, basically communicating with the energy that I've always intuitively been interpreting, but now I'm trying to understand better, which, I think
Mhm.
Aaron, my father, who's a little bit, more not rigid in his beliefs. He's very open.
Traditional,
Yeah, it,
traditional.
but is coming from like a more traditional.
Right, right, right,
I think they could understand that a little bit better. But I don't think I've ever really expressed it in that kind of way.
right.
So for me, it's just like I see that everything is rhythm. Everything is all these rhythms. Which is what we're talking universal law.
Yeah, dude,
And
perfect. Yeah.
on some level, I have been able to feel those things intuitively, and on a lot of levels, I've
Mhm.
been able to save myself from some of the pitfalls that other people experience because of that. And then
Right.
on other levels, I've set myself on fire because polarity exists. So,
Oh, and I've watched it all, my friend.
yeah, man, you've gotten to see all
It's
sorts
great. Mhm.
of the
So, but that, you know what?
fireworks.
Honestly, that's a first of all, before we even start, let me just say night and day with your setup there, dude. That is phenomenal. I mean, you probably hear a million times better.
I hear great. I know
You're,
what I sound like.
you're
It's so
like,
awesome.
yeah, you're real time. It's like, it's
How do
awesome. I
you like
love
my
it.
haircut? This is my
Your haircut, your hair looks great. You
getting
know,
back into hosting haircut. Thank you.
yeah, nice. Very cool. Very cool.
You guys
So,
get to see it first.
but that was a good segue into what I want. What I put forth that I wanted to talk about tonight,
Oh
which is
yeah,
what
it's
I
funny.
sent you.
I was literally gonna say like, so it's kind of a mystery night. Michael made like a logo for the show, and I was like, interesting. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what we're talking about.
So I wanted to talk about intention, and you just told a story that embodied that. So you said in your story, you said, I purposely started living a certain way.
Yeah,
That's what intention is. That's what I'm talking about. And that is so powerful. And I mean, even you even break it down to forget the spirituality of it. You break it down to a lot of these fitness people are doing. They're just like, you know what? I'm setting out. I want to be a fitness person. I want my body to be in shape. And they set out and they do it and they see the result. And that's a perfect example of the power of intention. I mean, that's like a visible result right there. So the reason I wanted to talk about it, I actually had a few stories about intention and living through intention. What does it all mean? Because I was inspired by you watching you do your class and kind of dig into each concept and saying, all right, well, what does this concept mean? How does it apply?
yeah.
You know,
How many ways can we look at it? Well, that was like my biggest thing. With the class. Um, you know, to a certain degree, I'm always like, the more information I can get, the better. So I
right,
just like to load people with information and process it later. But like, kind
right,
of
right, right,
like look at this and try to look at it a lot of ways and try to roll this around. Because what I see with all these concepts is it's always that joke about the elephant in the dark room, and there's like a dozen guys and they're all describing what they're feeling.
whoops,
One
sorry.
guy's have you heard this joke? For those of you who haven't heard it, it's I don't know if it's a joke or what do you call it, but basically, there's a dozen guys in a room with an elephant, but the lights are off, and they all are placed in a different area and asked to describe what they've got in front of them. And
Right. Oh
one
yeah, yeah,
guy's
yeah.
got a leg, and one guy's got a tail, one guy's got an ear, one guy's got a
Right.
trunk, one guy's got a tusk, one guy's got the belly, and they all have a different tale to tell about what this thing is. They're all describing it differently. When you describe a
Mhm.
tail, it feels like this. When you describe a foot, it feels like this. I
Yep.
used to think my mother was a contrarian. It used to drive me freaking nuts, as a kid. Like I was like, Mom, you're such a contrarian. I say this, you're like that, and now I realize that
You
my
get it.
mom inherently understood, this universal law, and she was trying to balance the things I was saying.
She
So,
was on the other side of the elephant.
yeah, exactly. So I went like, it's like this, mom. And she's like, well, Jess, you can't think about it like this. It's also like this.
Right.
And it's funny because that's also the thing that when I've like my body for time got programmed to sort of like have like a physical reaction to my anxiety, and
Mhm.
I would get like really flooded with chemicals, which is one of the reasons why I like to smoke marijuana, because it just really neutralizes the chemicals in my body, and I sort of just like, ah, okay, I feel much better, and then I
Mhm.
can think, and I'm really smart, and when I get overwhelmed, my brain kind of just like like attacks itself, but then I feel calm, and I could get back at this thing. So what was the where did I lost I lost my train of thought. Damn it.
Yeah.
Um, Sorry, I heard something in my headphones, and I started to wonder if I wasn't being heard.
Oh, no, no, we're hearing you.
Okay, good.
Um, I was listening to you. When you lose your train of thought, it's like I'm not sure where you're going with that.
Yeah.
But I'm going
Well,
to interrupt you for a second
okay, interrupt me.
anyway, because just so the people who are viewing know, you're not seeing their chat. I'm kind of managing everything until it pops up. So I do want to take a quick second. There's a bunch of people who came in and popped in and said hello. You're getting a lot of. You've got your female audience here who is loving your haircut. So you mentioned your haircut. So
Oh, thank you.
uh, I got Courtney here. She says hello.
There they go.
Um,
All right.
I've got Stacy here. She's loving your haircut.
Oh, thanks.
We've got Taylor.
I
Taylor
got my
here.
Darth Vader,
You
greatest
got-
dad in the galaxy T-shirt on.
we got Lyle in the house.
Yeah,
Always. We got Angela in the house. We got our regulars here. But yeah, it's good to see people coming and joining us in the conversation. I was talking earlier about actually inviting people to come on screen at some point. So we got to kind of work out the logistics of that. But that's going to be a lot of fun. We can have like almost like have a class here, a virtual class if we want.
Oh yeah, this is so cool. Yeah, as we go, I really want to try to have my siblings on. They've all had a lot of really cool spiritual journeys and learned so much about so many of the different you know pathways to understanding energy and this stuff a lot better, because
Hmm.
that's what it is. It's energy, and like my whole family is like my mom's Reiki certified. She's a Reiki master. My brother Cody's also Reiki certified, and I think my sister's planning on it. I'm getting really into the qigong thing. I'm trying to I really want to get certified as a qigong master, and there's healing through qigong as well. When I looked into it, and I very like, as soon as I started doing that, I just was like, I understand and believe in this. And it's just sort of energy exercise
Right.
for that helps your willpower. And that was the hardest thing for me when I was going through my depression and like dealing with things I was doing. I didn't have the will from like all my body pain and stuff to do some of the things that I really knew I should do and I wanted to do, but I
Hmm.
just couldn't find it within me. I couldn't like access the energy. It's a real specific energy to just like get up and do it. And it was amazing. It was like a light switch went on when I did start doing just a little bit of qigong, and I really wasn't as like dedicated to it as I should have been, but still using the principles when I felt run down, remembering certain things that wake up different systems in my body,
Right.
and it's great. I would really swear by it for anybody who's dealing with any ailment that's making them feel lethargic. And there's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a lot
I
of
gotta
different.
say, there was one point you were doing some of that tapping stuff,
Mhm.
and I was like, "That's weird," but I joined you, and it does move the energy around in your body. There's no doubt. You can feel it. You can
Well,
experience it. And that's what's cool about it. It's a mindful exercise of being aware of that energy.
yes, that's the thing. Like with anything, it's all really what you believe.
Right.
So to give yourself a bit of a framework, even if it was false, is actually a great thing, because it's just giving you some basis to do something.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
but the foundations of what you're talking about here, these different this different colored energy. There's only so much energy in reality based on all the universal law stuff that we see, and then we move up to another octave or whatever. Um, and if you don't understand the universal law stuff, go back. All 14 of the classes are free and available online.
Yay,
Check
we
them
made him
out,
free.
and that'll catch you up with the conversation that we're having. Because I do want to, this is always going to be referencing back to this. People go, why doesn't the law of attraction work for me? It doesn't work for you because you don't understand all the laws of the universe, and you're just kind of like focused on one thing. Um,
Amber
yeah,
says
it
it
helps with
helps a lot
stress.
with stress. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really surprised. Yeah, I kind of
Mhm.
turned a couple people onto it immediately because I was so excited about it. I was like, "Yo, people should do this with me." I just started doing it, but I'm blown away by how how
Mhm.
much better I felt.
Mhm.
And so that was the beginning of like me really feeling like I could do some yoga, feeling like I could
Mhm.
do some exercise. And I was really, it was, yeah, it was earthing is great too. Yeah, that's another thing. I was doing that too. And actually recently I had a really bad day, and I felt something really richly, and I posted it on Facebook just because I actually was like, I'm really doing one like wonderfully, like I feel really great about like where I am, but at the same time, I was having this like morning where I was feeling like still unsatisfied with
Oh,
myself,
yeah, yeah, I
my
saw you, yeah, yeah.
progress, and I was like,
Mhm.
this is so crazy. I said I felt this so many times. I'm like, like I wish I had a better like key to unlock it. Like I do unlock it over, like when I calm down, but like
Mhm.
in the moment, I wish there was something that I could say to myself to rationalize better
Mhm.
why I why it's okay for me to not, because I'm doing that polarized thing. Yes, it could be looked at like this, but it could also be looked at like it's awful. Ha ha. And, and I won't like let myself off the hook in that moment. But like with so many things, I've learned how to just really like I've gotten to a perspective on it that has dissolved it completely for me. And
Right.
I haven't really gotten to a perspective on that yet, on like on true like self-love and just kind of like adoring yourself or whatever.
So
That
always a work in progress, you know? I
yeah,
mean,
but and I thought, you know what, I feel comfortable enough to express that I'm feeling this right now because
right.
like things are good.
That's great.
So, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
but I am feeling this, and I wonder what people might say. And
yeah.
I had a lot of nice little conversations. I ended up deleting it later because my mom had said something to me that made me feel like it was like might be perceived as negative, which I didn't really mean it that way. I was just sort of like
Oh,
processing the energy, and there's a lot of
yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
who I have
You
followed
gotta
on
you gotta
Facebook.
process the way you process, you know?
Yeah, and well, like I said, like I feel like the people who are meant to see those things, they see them, and
That
like
exactly,
it's hard.
exactly.
And then I guess that was the thing too. Like once I had like the conversation I had, I didn't want anybody to be worried about me. And it seemed like some people were like, "I'm worried about." I was like, "No, no, no, no. I
Right,
feel you, but I mean, like this isn't like today. I feel like this. This is like something that I've kind of wrestled with over time, and I'm actually like talking about it. So that's good. Like I'm on the other end of like, help me feel better about this thing I'm trying to do.
right,
I'm
right,
trying to like myself. I don't have reasons really not to like myself per se,
right.
other than the fact that I hold myself to a really high standard, and I tend to just be unsatisfied with my results. And it's funny, this was like one of the
Sometimes, sometimes.
foundations with my parents. Little problems that I had with them was just that like uh, I was holding them to a really high standard that,
Oops.
they couldn't help but they couldn't help but make mistakes. It wasn't fair of me to like hold them to this place. But I was holding myself to that same place.
And
So
you're
when
looking
I
at all of this stuff objectively now, you know?
yeah, well, and when I lessened the grip on them too, it helped me lessen the grip on myself.
There you go.
Because sometimes we hold our parents in such high regard. So
Right.
like all of a sudden when like I was like, oh, they're human beings, I was
Mhm.
like, me too.
Absolutely,
Me too.
absolutely.
I'm in a human body and it's hard.
Right. Well, that's I mean, when we talk about self-love and that stuff all the time. Self-love goes both ways. When you do have self-love, it's easier to love other people. And same thing, when you are able to love other people, you're able to love yourself, more.
Yeah. Well, I am so ready to talk about your thing. I can't remember. I remembered back to what it was. It was something about processing energy and stuff and being compromised. Sometimes by situations, but if I'm sure it'll come back to me at the
Okay.
appropriate time. Um,
Okay.
but what you are saying, ties great into so much of what I was kind of thinking about talking about anyway, and exactly what my angel card said, even though I don't think anybody else would have read it that way. Um, but intention. And we have a tendency as people to put blinders on sometimes for the red flags, the feelings that we know aren't exactly right. And we can get really good at kicking the can down the road in a lot of ways so that the momentum that gets built up behind the scenes of us not dealing with the thing that's there,
Hmm.
it eventually catches up to us and like kicks us in the ass.
Hmm.
And I have a really good example of this, and I'm going to try not to like name names or anything and make it like vague, because I wouldn't want I just wouldn't want my friend to feel any shame. This was a long time ago. This was with
Right.
my one of my best friends, and there was always a little thread of what do you call it? I guess jealousy within the relationship. My mom used to tell me that, and my mom's always right. My mom really, she really knows. And I mean, most people when they're jealous, they don't
Don't
know.
let her hear you say that.
Yeah, no, I tell her. I wrote a song about it. Actually I wrote a really great song about it before. You want to hear it real quick? Wait, let's see. I didn't record it yet. I've recorded my phone yet, but I just wrote this hook in the bathroom.
Do it. You got a
Uh,
live audience, man. They
wait,
love it.
hold on, wait a second.
I love it.
Um,
I love when you do that.
wait. Someone else.
Now you're going way off the rails.
It's like I trust my mother and I trust myself. You can trust someone else, but I won't put you on a shelf. I trust no other, 'cause I trust what I have felt. I trust myself. I trust myself. I trust myself. I trust myself, dear baby. That was pretty close. I trust my mother and I trust myself. You can trust another. It's pretty funny.
I love it. I love
I
it.
just noticed a pretty funny Mama's Boy song.
Yeah.
I trust my mother and I trust myself.
World premiere. Yeah.
Something that some like tough guy might say, it'd be like a John Wayne movie. I trust my mother and I trust myself.
Yeah. 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 See, that's what I love about you, man. It's like you and language and the words and the way you think and the way you'll take a little sentence like that and then like do a whole routine around it. Like whether it be a song or like a skit, it's like,
Yeah, and when I do that really well, it's always really easy for me to remember. My dad's always been like,
Mhm.
"How do you fucking remember this shit?" Because I really remember a lot. Probably because I'm a little bit Asperger's, but I realize that I'm a little
Right?
Asperger's, and the reason why people don't why it was never recognized in me is because my dad was a radio host so
Right.
much of like my formative years, and I used to study him, and he taught me comedy right from the jump, right when I was a little kid. And people used to accuse me when I was younger, of being an egomaniac, because I would like hold court and like sort of like take maybe space, like unearned space, like maybe like walking around like I was a rock star or something like that. But it
Hmm.
was because I was Asperger's and I copied my dad, who was a rock star radio host, and
Right.
that's how he sounded. So
Right.
I just went out and I talked just like that, and I had no idea that I was doing anything wrong. Like it wasn't really like my personality. I just copied him.
Legacy, my friend. Legacy. That's what I've told you
See,
when I.
because my personality is much softer. It's like I can be tough. I have access to my masculinity.
Mhm,
Which
mhm.
is why I've always gotten embroiled in fights. I realize like half the reason why war exists is because there's guys like me going, "If you want it, you got it, brother." Like when somebody's a joke, like somebody's being a jerk, and you're like, "Well, I will stand up to you, asshole."
Right.
And
Right.
that's
Right.
not
Right.
what I'm doing. Why am I doing this? Why am I standing up to this asshole?
Right.
you know, uh, proving my masculinity because this offer has been sent up, and that if it's not taken, then all of you are pussies. Well,
Right.
not me. Uh, it's it's just so infantile.
Hey,
Just
listen, you know what? To each his own. I agree with you, but I don't want to be judgmental.
well, I mean, but it's not judgmental to really look at it for what it is, and I think most men really looking at it for what it is see that it's
Uh,
like a temper tantrum, man.
well, no. Then I mean, how do you explain like MMA and stuff? I mean, those guys
No,
love to do
that
that.
is fucking honorable combat, man. I
Right.
love
Right.
honorable
Right.
combat. You're talking to a national champion, semi-pro football player. The only reason why I stopped was because I kept getting kind of injured, and I was worried that I was going to not be able to play with my kids if I like hurt myself in too
Right.
bad way.
Right.
So I stopped, and
Right.
then my chronic pain hit me like 2 years after I stopped playing. But I mean, I love aggression. That's why I love being, a rock and roll singer. I love jumping
Yeah.
around on the stage, and I love working out, and being fit and feeling powerful, and running and climbing mountains. And I like doing stuff. I like
Right. Right. Right.
an active person, and I appreciate anybody who's like, "Yo, I don't care if you bust my face. I don't care if you bust my face. All right, let's fight. Awesome. Like, that's cool. But when it's something that is like, yo, my penis is small. How do you feel about your penis? And you're like, I feel fine. And he's like, well, then let's fight. That's the that's the thing. I'm not looking
No, no, I hear you. I
not
hear.
looking for this aggro, because you live, it's an affront to me.
Right.
And really, that's what this show's about. It's about, let's try to get rid of this idea that other people living differently or speaking differently, because I,
Right.
I mean, I think our illusions about how differently everybody's living are
Right.
really misguided.
Well, so you know what?
So much how
I,
we speak.
I think that's another great segue back into the whole conversation that I want to have, and a couple of quick stories I want to tell
Yeah,
about about
get some
intention.
going, because I
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
my little introduction, and I'll come back around to what ultimately happened with my friend, as my intention
Oh.
was,
Oh. Oh.
but I didn't. Yeah, you want me to wrap this up real quick? And then
Yeah. Wrap up your story. It's tough to. You're like.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's like, when I am inspired by the conversation, I like to, see that as a sign of what I should
Mhm,
be speaking about. But
mhm,
you know, there was momentum that I
mhm,
wouldn't really accept, because it was in the stage of not listening to my mom, of
mhm,
jealousy within our relationship. It wasn't something that I think he could acknowledge, because sometimes jealousy, it just hits you as just a bad feeling. You just have a bad feeling on some level, and this bad feeling keeps making you behave in ways that aren't great. But ultimately, it was a little bit of jealousy that came from what I came to understand, the fact that I was doing creative things that I loved, and he was a real great creative person. I was very encouraging of him as a creative person. He
mhm, mhm,
never took it the right way, and I'm going to talk
mhm.
about that in a second. But he was great creative person, and I guess on some level, he felt like he was kind of roped into the life that he had, because he had like a business that he was supposed to kind of inherit, because nobody else was going to do it, and he was like the last in line, and he felt like, well, I guess I got to take this on. And
Right.
even though he probably wanted to do things more like me, he didn't feel like he could. And I guess
Right.
when I encouraged him, it felt like, you know, I can't, mother
Right.
effer.
Right. Right. It was more frustrating to him. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't understand this though at the time. And all I did understand was that me and my best friend were just like flying off the rails. And oh man,
Right.
I so love him. I still love him so much. I've reached out to him so many times, but I feel like, it's when, when he's ready or whatever. Like, I
Yeah.
adore him, and I felt so bad how it ended, because it ended with me me having the best intention
Hmm.
when I was not properly acknowledging the momentum. I knew there was momentum, but I didn't know what kind of momentum it was. I didn't know what was going on.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
my best intention was, I am going to ask him questions about his business.
Hmm.
I'm going to understand these things so that I can speak to my friend from some place of where he is, and I can show him that I'm interested and
Hmm.
that I love him, and I don't care that he's doing what he's doing, and that I
Right.
have
Right. Right.
nothing but respect for
Right. You wanted to
know, a,
accept him. Right.
yeah, a business owner. Like, I had all these things that I wanted to make sure, like, I kind of got across as I asked these questions, and like in my responses, like, how much I appreciated a business owner, and he knew how much I loved my my ex-wife's father, Paul Story. I
Hmm.
still love him so much, and how much I respected Paul. And Paul's a self-made man.
Hmm.
He was an electrician, made his own business, built himself from nothing. I respect the hell out of Paul Story.
Hmm.
Really, like, respect the hell out of him, love him. And and like I was like, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say these things, like, this will help him see that he's misunderstanding me. I
Hmm.
so respect where he's at.
Hmm.
And I wasn't even going to mention creative stuff though, because that had not gone well when I had previously done that.
Right.
And holy crap, man, best intentions, not understanding the momentum, he eviscerated me. I mean,
Wow.
every word out of my mouth, I couldn't say anything right. It was just like everything that I said in reaction to the business was, I was like indicting it, and I
Wow.
hated it, and I was judging him, and I was mortified. I was more my my intention was just like to soothe my friend, make him feel better. I'm gonna fix this. I hate that he feels like this. I feel so badly about this.
Mhm.
I think he's so great. I don't. It makes me sad. It makes me
Right.
sad. I
Yeah.
think he's
Yeah.
so great, and this is the thing that I wanted to talk about because it makes me so sad. And I think this is what stifles so many really empathetic people from being themselves because sometimes we rub people the wrong way and we didn't mean to.
Right.
And
Right.
then we like beat ourselves up and we don't want to be ourselves anymore. We just like pull ourselves in
Right.
because we're like, well, look what happened. I was just being me and my friend's all sad now and he
Mhm.
hates me. I don't understand. We were such good friends for such a long time.
Right.
One little thing. It's like, oh, I needed to cry those tears. I've never actually like cried about it before, but
Yeah. Yeah, man. Cry. It's all good.
it makes me
You know.
it's
You
ridiculous.
know I'm all right with that.
It's happened to me a few times with people I was very good friends with. I had another great friend, and you talk about intentions. My intentions are to love my friends. I try to love them so badly. And one of them, I really didn't like his friends.
Mm.
Not because I didn't like them. They were fine to me. I just didn't like how they treated him.
Mm.
Like what they did to him. But my little not really liking his friends, oh, that really created a lot of ripples of energy for him,
Mhm.
things that he had to deal with.
Mhm.
And then at the same time, one day we were playing video games and he beat me and he jumps up and he shouts something to the effect of, I knew you weren't better at everything, or something like that.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God.
Wow.
Like, uh-oh. Like, and then I'm like having flashbacks, nightmare flashbacks to my friend Pat. Like, it didn't matter what I said, the relationship was over.
Right.
Over. And then I had another friend who I was helping. I was just trying to help them. And I ended up working with their father. And I was just trying to it wasn't the greatest situation. And I was just trying to make things nice. I just wanted things to be more relaxed and help the situation, help create space for things to
Right.
work out. And basically, it was communicated to me that like I was like showing off to his father,
Mm.
and I again I was like, and I like
Right.
basically
It was not your intention, but yeah.
yeah, and
Mhm.
when things like this happen, when you're somebody who really cares about people and you want to do right by them, and these situations occur, it just breaks your heart so bad.
Mhm.
And and it really makes it hard to like, I don't know, trust friendships and things and feel like you can rely on people. Like I really I have so many friends, but
Mhm.
like some of the deepest ones, have been ultimately, they've ended in tragedy. And it was really wonderful, reconnecting with my one of my best friends, Aaron Sparrow. He and I are going to be doing some fun, content pretty soon for like toy stuff. There's nobody online, I mean, for the most part, really professional doing anything, and we love
Yeah.
toys so much, and
I'm
we're
excited. We're
talking
gonna
about
get him on here, right?
yeah, so yeah, exactly. And Aaron's like a biblical scholar. He's really, really a wise guy. I always call him Moses. Um, but when I connected with Aaron, again, just recently, I was reminded that he and I, we've never had that thing. It's
Right. Right. Right.
been lovely connection, and you and I,
Yeah.
like similar. Also,
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
friend
Yeah.
of mine, Ira Black, who's a guitar player.
Right.
Me and I, and Michael Naranjo, who's a producer who me and him co-wrote produced my last album together. You know, we're like a bunch of Care Bears when we hang out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
really
There's a
is.
lot of love, a
Yeah,
lot of loving people,
for the most part, we just kind
Yeah.
of roll around and laugh and talk about crazy spiritual things and are really open to everybody's thoughts and
Right,
and kind of tripping over each other talking because we're so excited to kind of conversate with somebody who is interesting and smart and you
right.
know and open and reasonable.
Totally,
Because we
totally.
can have different thoughts and we can have different perspectives. That's what makes things rich.
Right,
um,
right.
and it's just so helpful. But yeah, I mean, that really wraps up my large thing, for intention and momentum. You know, I think I just to cap it off, I want to say that when we can start recognizing this momentum before it is there, because like this was there, in some of these situations, and I see it, my mom was trying to tell me I didn't take the lessons. um I probably could have noticed some of these other things. Well, actually, like the second situation I talked about was that it never really happened to me before. I was being defensive of my friend. I was trying to protect him. I didn't really know how that would ultimately come across within his world, and how that
Mhm,
might affect him in a not a good way. It was a good lesson for me because I was like, oh, okay, well, really gotta be understanding how sometimes when you're throwing your weight around trying to whatever is it affects other people. um Tim, for me, being an empath is very hard. You want to help everyone, never feel like you're doing enough, but a lot of people don't really want that help. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, you really got to let people come to you, and you know, and give people an opportunity to see why it might be a good idea, to get your perspective.
mhm, mhm,
Um, and and doing that, when you look around and you see so much wrong, and you can understand so much, like I say, it's really kind of a curse to sort of see an energy the way I do, because what I do see now very clearly is where the momentum is, like
mhm,
what's going on. Sometimes it gets to a certain point where I'm like, uh-oh, we're getting to that point of no return. I don't know where it is right now. Can we come back from it, because it's about to go into a new octave, it's about
mhm,
to continue on, or whatever, or it's going to taper out and it's going to swing back in the thing. And even within like a conversation, I see what happens. There's timing problems. Somebody wasn't ready for that thing, wasn't ready for that. He didn't hear this thing. Like, I've seen so many conversations where I've seen like something go wrong, and I've been like, oh man, I wish they could both see what I just saw. That was just a total like silly miscommunication, and now they're mad at each other. This is ridiculous.
mhm, mhm.
And not having a real good perspective on, oh, oh, I got startled. I hadn't eaten, my blood chemicals were wrong. I was on my period, like I'm on my man period, like whatever it is.
Right,
There,
right.
there are factors at play. And if we were a little bit more forgiving about that, I think we could, it'd be a lot easier to be getting along easier. And we wouldn't end up with so many of these quiet momentums that get built. It's like, oh, that bothered me and that bothered me and that bothered me. And then
Mhm,
all of a
mhm,
sudden these
mhm,
things
mhm.
blow up later.
Right.
Uh, so I have another thing that I want to talk about, but after you, my friend, what do you got for us?
Well, I mean,
It's related to what you've brought up. It's one of those
yeah,
things.
I guess I feel like your interpretation of the graphic I made, the intention thing, um,
Was
you
the
know,
opposite of how you were
it wasn't
interpreting it.
not the opposite, really, not the opposite,
A
but
little different.
my approach to talking about it was really about applying it to living a happier life and trying to be happier. And it is kind of as simple as making a decision. You know what I mean? I want to be happier.
Mhm.
But I think you the example that I gave at the beginning of the fitness person who is like, okay, I see these people, they do these exercises, this is what they want to do. Okay, this is what I've got to do. My intention is to get fit. I've got to take these steps. They're very specific steps with fitness. You've got to, exercise every day, certain repetitions, and follow this thing. Um, so for me, my stories there's kind of two stories. One is uh, I think that they both speak to who I am and some of the qualities that you like and tell me, okay, that's it. That's what I see in you that makes me feel good. So
Phew.
uh, it's as simple as it.
Got me again.
It's a,
April Fools.
it's as
I'm
it's as simple
referencing my brother's short film.
it's as simple as this. Hello. So that hello, I didn't realize has a little sing song to it.
Hmm.
Hello,
Yeah.
hello. One day, it was after my father had passed away, and my brother called me, and I picked up the phone and I went, hello. And I totally heard my dad's voice because that's how my dad would say hello. And that's how he would put you at ease. He
Can
would,
I say something as a voiceover actor?
yeah,
He, hello. Da-da-da-da-da-da. When you say hello like that, you're about to say more shit. When you say
right,
hello,
yeah,
you're ready to listen.
right. That's it. That's it. Hello. Exactly right. And he would say it with a big smile on his face.
Yeah.
And so
That ties into the other side of what I
I
wanted to
started,
talk
yeah,
about.
I started to realize that that's what I was doing and intentionally do it. And
Mhm.
it really had an impact on my own mood and on how people would respond to me, and I feel like, again, the intention is energetic both ways, you
Yeah,
know.
I was out with somebody the other day and we were talking about voiceover. They were asking me if I could give them some, some overall pointers.
Mhm.
And, you know, the main thing that I, said, and I mean, really, it's like the silver bullet, and I really viscerally understand it. It takes a little bit of time to to get this. I mean, it's simple though. It's just that when I say, want more taste? Get America's favorite pizza, Pizza Hut, now online. What I mean is, I hope that you get the most out of our product that you can. I hope that
Right,
it's good for you. I hope that you're glad that went with Pizza Hut. You
right,
know, and I really believe that that's a prayer for whatever the best outcome available for Pizza Hut is,
right.
nutritionally on any level, like any judgment against
Sure.
them, like literally I'm trying to just give them the best foot of what you need a pizza. I hope that this is
Yeah.
exactly what you want.
You hit it on the
And
head, man. That's intent. That's you put the
exactly.
intention into those words, and
Mhm.
I mean, by the way, I love it when you say that.
Yeah, I always really the tone of buying a Kia is one smart move.
I love when you
I
say that.
always enjoy that
That
one,
was a good one.
and that one I
It feels
programmed.
good, right?
Yeah, and that one I programmed a lot of. You're gonna be glad that you bought a Kia, not one of these other expensive pieces of crap. Like like a little bit, and like I really because it's more of like a conversational tone thing, so it's got like a little bit of confidence in it. Like you want a Kia, no, I don't
It's so great, dude. It's so great.
know.
So much power. There's so much power in what you do.
But it's so funny too because this is the other thing that I wanted to say, and maybe it'll tie in continually to what you're saying. You and I have spoken about this a bunch, and this I really believe is my message to the world. The thing that I'm supposed to start to richly teach as I can.
Mhm,
Um, people talk about fuck being the best word because you can say it so many different ways.
mhm.
You can say fuck it positively, negatively, but the reality is you can say anything
Yeah,
so
you were
many
saying that
different
last week too.
ways.
Yep, yep.
You can program the language any which way you want to. So literally, when if we were being more conscious beings, we
Mhm.
would take control of the energy in the words we say, especially when we're talking
Wow.
to our
You know what?
family
Yeah.
and
Uh,
sensitive people, where we're saying, hey, I want to talk to you about your heroin addiction, but I want you to understand how much I love you and that this is
right,
just a conversation.
right,
And that I don't want you to feel like you have to run away from this, and whatever it is that
right.
like, and you could just be going, I love you, I love you, I love you the whole freaking time.
Yeah,
And people can feel that it
yeah.
is, I use it in my profession very successfully. And that's the way to really get your message across, because it's more than just the words you're saying. It's the it's how you're saying them, and how you're saying them is actually more important if you want to control the chaotic nature of 3D reality. Because in
Right.
3D reality, everybody is individually experiencing their reality, and they're picking up their own sort of triggers from different words, and everybody hears the word differently. You hear yellow and you're like, oh, that's my favorite color, and somebody else hears yellow and he's like, ooh, mustard.
Right.
Everybody is hearing the words
Perspective. Yeah.
completely different. Their perspectives are different. But if you're speaking from the place of meaning, from the place of intent,
Hmm.
if your intention is always very focused and you're speaking from that place, which is what I try to do when
Hmm.
I am most, on the money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I had a conversation with my father earlier today, and I just really wanted him to feel like he was heard, and
Hmm.
feel like like that, because we it was based on another conversation. So it was like, so he had told me something, and then I came back around and I was like, so I want to talk about this again, but I first want to say, like, I totally appreciate and understand your position, and in
Hmm.
fact I'm kind of like, sorry, like I presumed a little bit, like I should have asked to see what your position was, before I just made a jump. So
Right.
and this is the sort of thing, like, maybe in the past I might have been standing up and uncomfortable, like kind of bouncing around and like and skittish or something, and like if he responded wrong, might have jumped myself down a different path. But I chilled myself out beforehand. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to him real quick, and like I because other or just not have the conversation at all, because I'm just like, it's an uncomfortable conversation. I don't want to have the
Hmm.
conversation.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'd hate to
Right.
make him feel uncomfortable, and then I have to feel uncomfortable along with him. But instead, I was like, okay, and I like came in and I literally just like kind of got on my knees on the floor, and I was like, hey, totally understand, really like understand and respect that, and I'm sorry, and and we were able to move the conversation forward in a really good way.
Right.
And that's what we're all looking to do, right? We
Yeah.
want the conversation to move forward. We don't want it to stagnate, and that's
Yeah.
where we're at right now. The conversation is just stuck.
Well,
S-
this whole thing that you're talking about, this is great. That we should butt some heads and make this the topic of conversation. Language and how we use it. You really are such a word slinger. You're like the
well,
old
I'm an
west. You're
English
like a
major.
gunslinger, but you're the word slinger. It's like, I mean, you're getting some comments here. The women love your voice. Angela says, here's Angela's comment. You helped her brother, maybe with your music. I don't know what the story is there, but I mean,
Oh
but
yeah. Oh yeah. But, um,
whatever.
my
But
brain is not connecting dots right now.
yeah, Jesse,
Bill.
you know what? I mean, listen, it's definitely it's what I'm talking about, the power and the energy of the words, the way you use them. It's a great subject that we should talk about in one of these episodes.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, it's that there's it's such a larger conversation, because it's about how um human beings are instruments.
Yeah.
Everything's vibrating
Oh
in
yeah, the whole
reality. It's one of the
yeah, this
it's one of
whole
the laws.
the
So you're
kirtan thing,
sitting
yeah.
there, and I'm like, I'm an instrument,
Hmm.
and on some level, I know from the plants told me, because I've gone on ayahuasca, and Mother Ayahuasca has been like, yes, and I trust her implicitly. But and it just makes sense. Of
Yeah.
course we're instruments, and
Right.
so many people think that they can't sing. But
Right.
I was told at a certain point by a very famous vocal coach. Ow, my leg! I gotta move it. I'm sorry. Ow! Ooh, ooh, ooh,
A
ooh.
vocal coach told you
Oh,
that?
ow! No, when I bend this left knee, like when I have it bent for too long, when I
That was like
unbend it,
you
it
just set me
really
up for like
hurts.
a Mel Brooks joke. It was just
I
great.
know, I know. Damn it. Ow, I hate that I set you up for that. You son of a bitch. You took advantage of my pain. Ow. I don't know what to do about
Yeah, sorry.
my
No, I
darn
feel
knee.
bad I'm not laughing at your pain.
No, no, no. I apologize. I
I'm
apologize for
not-
ruining the show with my pain. But literally, when I unbend that leg, it's like, what is wrong there? I feel like the Tin Man. Like I need oil in that joint. I gotta like, I don't know. I gotta look something up. I need somebody to help me with this. Whatever. So
Whatever.
yeah. So the language and the singing putting forth intention into things. Like it's funny, when you were talking about intention from your perspective and more like what you wanted to talk about, which I knew that's what you wanted to talk about,
Mhm.
but what I wanted to talk about, it was the dark side of the spirituality
Listen,
of intention, because this is the thing: when people talk about
we're in this
attraction,
together,
it
man.
it blinds us to the other side of that, of like,
Mhm,
yes, 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 you want that, but make sure sometimes
mhm.
you know what you're getting into. I've had
Right.
so many situations where I didn't realize, or on some level I was in resistance to knowing that, this wasn't going to help. Maybe I could have recognized this earlier. And if you guys can be more conscious, in your lives when things like that are going on, you could save both the people that you love and yourself from feeling like, crazy people and having terrible relationship ending conversations, and
Mhm.
instead maybe get some space from each other and, handle things the proper way and come back as friends later down the road. But the facts about your singing, and I was saying the guy in New York, he said that some people just didn't have high voices, and then I came to Los Angeles, and I did Rock the Cradle. And the greatest thing about Rock the Cradle for me was meeting Liz Lewis. And it's funny, they had told me that like he wasn't brought in, she wasn't brought in because of me, because I was on key in the first episode of Rock the Cradle, but I only got better and better and better after the vocal coach showed up. And I was just like, yes, because she started getting like height out of me. Like by the end of the show, I was like, man, I can sing way better than I ever thought I could.
Nice. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was I was really tense, and I had all these things that were kind of holding me back in my physical technique. That
Right,
was really the thing. It was all physical technique problems. So
right.
I know a lot of basic physical technique problems, which can help people with getting their voice out as well, and
Mhm.
expanding where their range is. But really, if anybody can speak, you can sing. And most
Right.
of the time, people are like, "Oh, Mariah Carey," like, what are you doing? Like, like
What are
you
you doing?
you say you can't
Wait,
sing,
shut up first.
and then
First,
you're
shut up.
yeah, and then you're like, "Look, I can't sing," and you're trying to sing like Mariah Carey. Like,
Right, right,
you've gone too high.
right.
Pick somewhere that feels good. Sing
Well,
there.
we
Be a
you
bass. Be a whatever.
yeah, you
Whatever
were
you
talking about this vocal kirtan thing, which I think also that would be another great thing that we could probably do here, because this is, you and I are real time with each other, even though there's like a 10-second delay to YouTube. We could do harmonies, we could, it doesn't duck out the vocals as you're speaking and I'm speaking. We can even speak together. So
Oh,
I'm just saying, we can do some of that kirtan idea here
there's
live
other stuff
online.
that we can think about. And I mean, that was what I was going to share. So when you were talking, I thought about this intention. Like so many of the songs that I write are intention songs.
Hmm.
And I mean, and really like every great D. Snyder song is an intention song.
Hmm.
We're not going to take it.
Hmm.
I've set an intention. I'm not going to take it. Some of the great songs from the first album, "We're Gonna Make It," "You Can't
Hmm.
Stop Rock and Roll." It's just sort of
Hmm.
the idea of the power. Like these,
Right.
they're all just major. Like, yo, just so
Hmm.
you know, this is what I believe.
Hmm.
This, so you know, this is my intention.
Yeah.
Um, and like so many of the ones that'll come out of me are a little bit softer and sweeter. But I remember writing a while back. I'll be following my nose to the next red rose.
Nice.
I'll be following my heart to a world apart.
Hmm.
And it came from me trying to make more of an effort when I saw flowers that I wanted to smell, like to smell the flowers, and
Hmm.
when I saw something that I thought was beautiful, to stop and take it in.
Hmm.
And when I work with energy, and I kind of talk to the trees, and when I say like "hello trees," I can always feel like a hello, and they always seem to appreciate it.
Right. Totally.
Uh, and but I really I really like to appreciate nature. I think nature is
Yeah.
beautiful. I mean, like when it comes to like girls and stuff, I'm just like, I like I like women, like
Beautiful
women
girls are nature.
nature. I'm like, it's like they're like they're my favorite animal.
I
Like,
hear you.
it's like, what's your favorite animal in the kingdom? When I say tiger, I
Maybe.
mean woman.
Yeah.
Like this is, you know.
So let me just bring back my last kind of thing about intention real quick, because I think it's It's more of like something that is not necessarily, even though it's a personal story, I feel like it's something that I can finally say is an exercise that
Mhm.
people can try. So that is basically the whole idea of saying to somebody, "Hey, how you doing?" or "How you doing today?" And the answer to that question. So I mean, most of the time when you say, "Hey, how you're doing?" What are you getting from people? You're getting, "Oh, hanging in there." You know, you're getting these kind of answers. And at one point in my life, somebody said to me, I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And they said, "Awesome." And they were like in a great mood. Something had just happened, and it was just I caught them at that moment, and it was like, "Oh, awesome!" And I was like, there was such energy in that exchange of, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm doing awesome." I was like, it hit me. So I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." So then when it happened again, somebody said, I said, "Hey, how you doing?" They said, "Awesome." I'm like, "Oh, that's my favorite answer." And I realized the energy that was involved in that. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to look for that now. When people say, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, good. I'm doing good." Or "I'm doing great." And when people say, "Oh, I'm hanging in there," I'm going to maybe somehow like be like, "Oh yeah, what about this?" Or the opposite was when people would ask me how I'm doing, I would intentionally, and here's the intention, I would always say, "I'm doing great." And once in a while I would find myself going back to, I'm hanging in there, because I was feeling, having one of those days. It's okay, nothing great happening, but I'd be like, I do have great things in my life. I am feeling great. And I would, with the intention of answering great, I would mean it. So I'd be like, "Hey, how you doing?" "I'm doing great." And then eventually it's like, I have never, in the last longest time, I have not said, "I'm hanging in there," or any sort of energy that was down. It's always this up energy. So it's like,
I do
you
the
know,
same thing, although
yeah.
this is interesting. Tell me what you think. I've kind of leaned into like an enthusiastic, I'm doing good, because I feel like on some level, great has this association of better than.
I get that too. I get that too. But good,
And
listen,
I feel like
good is good too.
yeah, I feel like good is a good answer.
It
And I feel like
absolutely
to
is.
a certain degree, my energy could just be a little big for people.
Right,
So,
right.
just it gives
Your
it like
energy is very big, yes.
gives it just a smaller version of like I feel like when people hear me say good, they're like, great. You know,
Absolutely.
like
No,
if I
absolutely.
say awesome, they're like, is he on coke? You know, like no, no, no. I just opened a toy. What the
He's
hell's wrong
just
with you?
I just opened a toy,
That's my
and it's
cocaine.
awesome.
It's an awesome toy. I'm
It's an
sorry.
awesome toy.
Everybody's just mistaking what I'm into. I'm like,
That's
I'm into
awesome. That's
superheroes
awesome.
and shit, man.
So Taylor is writing a story. She says you would be perfect as the dad of one of the mains.
I'm the dad of all of the mains. Um, yeah, that's funny.
Wow. Yeah.
What were we just talking about? Because there was something else I wanted to say with that.
Oh, about
Um,
intention.
yeah, you were saying, so saying great,
Yep.
awesome, people, so as you were talking about that, I kind of thought one better, because one of my biggest spiritual breakthroughs came from this 1-2 punch, and I don't know if I've spoken about it before, but essentially I was getting this notion that you get what you expect, from the world.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
And when I started to expect to have great interactions with people and to basically always get them at their best moments, and even that if I had some supremacist of some kind, that he and I wouldn't get into a fight about supremacy, we'd get into some wonderful conversation about family, and we'd both grow from it. And like that was my intention of like the thing. And then as you were and there was a similar thing that sort of like proved that to me. My brother Shane had gone on an ayahuasca retreat, and he had this weird experience where it was a hallucination. He was sitting at a campfire with these guys who, like, he described as hicks. And after a few minutes of talking to them, he's having a great time, laughing and joking. They're having a great time. And he said, and then all of a sudden they start getting really racist. And he like gets up and he's like, "Darn racist hicks, I'm getting the hell out of here." And he like leaves, and he starts talking to Mother Ayahuasca, which anybody's looked into the ayahuasca experience, this is very common that you communicate with her. And he says, "Mother Ayahuasca, what the hell is this? Why you got me talking to these hicks?" And Mother Ayahuasca says, "You made them hicks." like you made them racist. No, no. She said, why am I talking to these racists? And he says, you made them racist.
Mhm, mhm,
And Shane like was really sort of affected by that. That he was like sort of like bringing it out or whatever on that level, creating the
mhm,
thing.
mhm, mhm,
And I really believe there's a lot to that. And when I changed my mind about everything, it really changed my life in terms of like so many of my interactions in the world. Like I always really generally have great interactions, even with cops, where I used to have not a really necessarily great
mhm,
attitude about cops. But
mhm,
like a long time ago when I first made the change, like I remember getting pulled over and like getting treated very nicely, and I was just so like, oh wow, like I've always been kind of harassed by the police,
right,
and like,
right, right.
and it was, and it's continued to be the thing where like they'll be like, oh man, like I could get you in trouble right now, but I'm not looking to do that, do this and whatever, and like some some human beings treating you like human beings, and the same thing with people behind counters and the people at the flight desk and whatever else. But wouldn't it be even better to just imagine the world where every person you meet, something awesome had just happened to them?
Mhm.
And if you lived in the world where every person you met, something awesome had just happened, imagine how much that would charge you up as
Yeah.
you just like grab on to all of their energy from everything
Mhm,
awesome that's happening. Like I'm
mhm.
just gonna like, I want all the people that awesome things are happening for.
Totally,
They're all coming to me so I
totally.
can take all of their awesome energy. The juggernaut's going to pick up speed.
You reminded me, there's a guy I remember on the music scene who I met. I was like, I was in a band and nobody really, it was like, I wasn't really doing anything. But he came up to me one day and he's like, "Hey, you're Michael Zinn. You're the bass player for Giant Size." That was the name of the band. And it was just something about the way he spoke to me that made me feel like a celebrity, and the way he, kind of like you said, like he spoke and he was ready to listen, not like he spoke and there was more to come and he just wanted to speak at me. He was like, hey, I write a column for this thing, I want to interview you. He made me feel like a celebrity, and I became friendly with him, and I noticed that's how he interacted with everybody, and everybody loved him because they felt like a celebrity around him.
It's sweet, I think there's a certain amount of people who kind of wanna judge people like that as small,
Hmm, hmm,
but it's such a wonderful attribute, to really be able to allow yourself to honor and admire people.
hmm,
Although it's funny, with myself, I tend to have like on my body, I tend not to tattoo. I have a rule that I won't tattoo. I wouldn't tattoo Darth Vader like this. Like this was a gift from my kids. It represents something a little different. But for me, like the avatar of another human being,
hmm,
like I liked. I don't know. I believe in something about like sort of honoring thyself, like that. Like you're grateful for who you are and you don't want to be anybody else.
hmm,
All my tattoos are about embodying aspects of people I admire.
hmm, hmm.
And comic
Symbols more
fans and
than, yeah.
yeah, comic fans and Star Wars fans, they're very much on that wavelength, but there tends to be a little bit of like a, a crossover into not fandom, because fandom's not like like the thing, but sometimes like a crossover into infatuation
Hmm.
or um the opposite of like sort of like an ugly jealousy, kind of like a loving jealousy where
Well, maybe
where
they want to be like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
you put them up here and that keeps you down here,
Hmm,
that kind of thing, because you frame your world around it, but a healthy respect and adoration, like I always have believed that I have a very 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 healthy adoration for the people who I really admire, like
hmm,
and you know just because I really richly do, and I feel very humble that they exist, and from the Jim Hensons, and like when I think of them, like even Dexter Holland from the Offspring, who's somebody that I really admire, and and people like Paul Newman, or who have inspired me.
hmm,
I just feel very just sort of like humble, like just like so many of these comic book fans or celebrity fans feel, and there's a balanced adoration that I think is wonderful,
hmm, hmm.
and really that attribute as a trait doesn't get appreciated nearly enough. That's one of those the meek shall inherit the earth things, because
Mhm.
people who truly appreciate what wise, intelligent, creative, artistic people are doing, they're really the salt of the earth. People who
Right.
are noticing, and if enough of those people who are noticing come together and help build a better world tomorrow, because they noticed all the things that we could do to make it better,
Mhm.
that's how the world starts to go around. So I mean, really, the the sweet observer, who truly appreciates what's being made. Those are the greatest people on earth, and really, those are the people, honestly, who break through celebrity defenses. If you want to know how to approach a celebrity, the people who have always broken through like whatever walls my family's putting up to like protect my dad from anybody who just might be not cool and like be wasting his time or his energy or whatever, because you do have to protect yourself a little bit. The people who break through the walls, they're people who just formulate a sweet, simple but meaningful compliment that goes straight to a rich understanding and appreciation for the artistic or intellectual contributions of the person in question.
Mhm.
And it's so funny actually now too, because like when people used to sing "We're Not Going to Take It" to my dad, um, that was always sort of like a weirdly kind of disrespectful one. Like in public, you're just kind of
Mhm.
like drawing a lot of attention to him. It's really going to change his experience that he's having right now at dinner with his family.
Right.
Like people don't necessarily see those things, but
Right.
it's kind of funny though when people yell PMRC. Like my dad kind of can't help but go, yeah. Like that one does get a better response, because
Sure. Sure. Sure.
that's a more meaningful thing
Mhm.
to say to him. Like, I respect you because you fought for my right of speech. Like
Right.
that's a really short thing that you can say to him that makes him go, oh, cool. You do respect me. You haven't just noticed the one most famous aspect of who I am, and you're shouting it at me. Hey, you got
You're
big
shouting
hair.
at me.
I want to rock. You're like,
Right.
great. Can you do anything else? Do you have a larger appreciation for me? Otherwise, please don't like just breathe in my face for no reason.
Right.
There's
Well, I
no reason.
appreciate that he's letting you use his computer and his microphone,
Oh, it's so wonderful, right?
and he set you up with that. It's
I mean, it's really cool. He's got a green screen here, so if I pull, but I don't know if you could use it here. If I pull down the green screen.
if you're on the computer, you should be able to do it. Pull it down,
Oh,
and
I can do it.
yeah, I
Oh,
think.
he did show me some things on his.
Well, in the little, I don't know what when you go on the computer, I don't know what you see, but you
Yeah.
should see a little gear, like a little camera gear.
Yeah, I see cam, mic. Yeah, I see the gear.
And does it say green screen?
Camera. Green screen. It does say green screen.
Boom. Hook it
Oh,
up.
got it. Let's try it. Wait a
Yeah,
second.
man.
Oh, wait a second.
You're in
Oh,
for it
oh,
now.
oh, oh, wait, I gotta pull it down.
Jesse Blaze, our show just went up a level.
It's in, yeah, the production value.
Oh,
Production value. All right.
that's so great.
All right, there we go.
Don't break it. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's so fucking great. You just pulled down a wall of bricks. That's amazing. That's great.
Ah, here we are. Let's see. What else do we got here?
Oh, I love it.
I was showing some cool stuff earlier. Let's see what do we got. Upload back. Oh, I got to upload back. I don't want to upload back.
Yeah, you'd have to upload some. We could do some cool stuff, but
Okay, I don't want to upload backgrounds. Wait a second. I can also pretend that I am. No, I can. Oh wait. Oh shit. Wait. Upload backgrounds. Hold
there
on.
should be a couple of ones
Wait.
in there, no?
No. Oh no. These are songs, lyrics. Okay. My dad's working on a new album. Cool stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Let's see.
Oh, look at that.
Here I am. I'm in the living room, Michael, doing everything I can to make sure this happens. See, obviously, it's COVID, and I'm here. I was playing the grand piano earlier, but now
Great. It's awesome.
I'm here.
That's great.
Or we could go with green.
That's perfect right there. I love
I'm
it.
green with envy.
That's awesome.
There it is again.
Dude, this is really much better actually than where you were, that
previous
slow should,
situation, yeah,
yeah,
no, it worked out great. It was just it
cool.
ended up being just a really good, moment to reconnect with my family over
Mhm,
here,
mhm.
timing wise, and there was a lot of similar things that were kind of set up for me to do over here,
Right.
and it sort of just made sense on a lot of levels to switch
So you're
things
gonna
over.
stay there for a little
Yeah,
bit? Are you gonna
yeah, I'm gonna be over here
okay.
for a little bit. Hopefully, I'm gonna get to come out and see my kids at the end of February, but I'm
Can
just
we
in
get can we
money
get, like
making mode. I want to shoot our short when I come out in February. I
yes!
just got to work on it.
Alert.
You want to do it? Yeah,
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I'm on a
because I
new
mean it's
level.
relatively easy. So I mean I
Yeah.
just I gotta go in and do that second pass of the script. Well,
Um, but
I've been working on a short film just kind of for fun because our buddy Steve Sage has wanted to to do something for like the festival circuit and whatnot. And I've never directed anything before. I mean that's not true. I've never directed like a short film before. I've directed
your
other
own
little
script, your
things.
own, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've like done like other little things to here or there, but largely more like producing stuff. So this is Michael and I are going to co-produce it. I'm working on the finished thing, and it's a simple thing. I'm probably going to play one of the parts, and our buddy's going to be editing it and stuff, and it'll be a cool little thing. We'll probably hopefully finish like the end of the year or whatever if we actually get our crap together.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, life is good. What should we talk about to wrap up our show tonight?
Oh, I
Do we
was
have any
actually
questions? Do we have things that we should look at?
let's see. We got Jeff. Let me see if I could show these. Jesse would make killing.
Of a werewolf biker. Yeah, the macho man. Can I be
We got
Autobots? Decepticons, come fight. What's that guy's name? All right, all right, all right. I can't wait to hear that new album. Oh yeah, I've heard a couple things from him. It's pretty cool. I
yeah.
got sent a song the other day. My dad was asking if it was what we thought of it as the first single, which I didn't want to like neg on it because I liked it a lot,
Mhm,
but it just didn't quite sound like it was the beginning of something.
mhm,
It
mhm.
sounded like one that maybe the second single or the third single. It
You're
didn't
very
sound like the
particular.
first
Yeah,
thing.
you're very particular with the way things are presented and the order.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
apparently my brother Shane said the same thing, and he was glad that we said that because
cool.
like there's agreement amongst it, like because basically like the last album when they came out with American Made, it's really heavy, like right through the gate. So he really needs to establish that same kind of tone this time around, I think,
Mhm.
and then and open it up to whatever. It's a cool song.
I'm friends with Russ, who's playing bass for him. So I see he's been posting some stuff. They've been tracking out the drums and the bass.
Yeah, he's working with
Yep.
Jamie Josta, who's a super super wonderful guy.
Cool.
Me and Jamie have been friends since I was a VJ back on MTV2, and he was the host of Headbangers Ball. And he's somebody a little bit. I feel like you and Aaron. I mean, through Hatebreed, a lot of aggression and energy and whatnot. But like
Mhm,
as a guy, uh, very very sweet and like
mhm.
kind of loving. Doesn't really
Yeah,
bring
I'm
that
excited to meet him
that
and
energy
have
to the
some
table.
conversations. We should definitely get, I think, more people in on a conversation and do some more stuff. So I can there's either more on that video I was sharing after the hurry up, or I was thinking also we can show uh earlier you were talking about like intent and your energy and stuff, and we did that video of the Phoenix. Um we could show that. I mean, I know that stuff is available online, but we could share it here in our broadcast or not. I don't know. It's just
Let's share the Phoenix is available on the YouTube, but the
okay.
virtual stuff isn't. So why don't you share
All right,
one of
let's
those?
see.
And there was
Yeah.
I like
Whoop.
there was
Sorry.
something that I wanted to chat about. Can we come back after this and just have like one more little conversation to
Sure.
cap it off? Like, I'll see if I can find this thing because somebody wrote me something on Facebook, and I was like, I want to remember this because it was about the conversation we were having last week, and it was a very good way she phrased it. Let me see if
Okay.
I can find it.
All right, I'm going to play this. So this is right after what we were watching earlier with Hurry Up. This is right after he finished that.
dedicating that song to the Dakota Access Pipeline that's going on right now. I'm sure we've got a lot of people in this room who give a crap
Oh,
about that.
interesting.
Keep sharing that story.
That
All
was
these new
that was
stuff.
when
If
the
they're doing
pipeline was
something
being protested.
terrible and deceitful and disgusting, share that stuff until you're blue in the face, because they don't like to report when they're taking homeless people's blankets and stuff, but that's going on all the time. What the hell? If this is America and it's a democracy, we should at least have control over little things like that. But when they hide it from us, and they have been hiding what's going on Dakota Access Pipeline, my brother Cody went there with a press pass, and that just means they're going to aim for you. Oh, there's one. Bang! Get him off of here. And you won't know why they use the fire hoses at Dakota Access Pipeline? Because it shorts out the electronic equipment. So you can't film what they're doing, which is violating our civil rights. And there's tons of stuff going on like that. And that is the one thing that we can push back.
How angry you are.
One of our friends, doesn't matter if they're Republicans or Democrats or idiots, can just
Zinn,
get on board with
money.
this. People are suffering. It's very, very easy. Let's stop fighting about the stupid Trump. Who gives a shit about that? When people are hurt, we all can at least put on a good face and pretend like we care. So focus on that stuff. Focus on that stuff. Honestly, you know, that's where I put all my energy. Because it's not worth it to, like, you know, try to tell somebody the sky is blue when they think it's green. But it's blue.
Thanks for showing up, Barry.
That doesn't work. Okay, let's talk about the sand. Approximately the same amount of grains that I see? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's mix the sand. And then we'll move on to the sky once we've run out of all other things to argue about. Hurry up. And we gotta hurry up before the world explodes, is sort of my thoughts on that. My wife couldn't be here today, but, you know, I told her that, you know, I didn't marry her because I needed somebody to be at every show. I married her because I needed somebody, you know, to be there when I got home from the show, and I could tell her how the show went. So I'll tell her it went good. But this song is for her, and you know, I might talk just a little bit about our relationship because I think people need to hear it sometimes.
All my feelings, you know, I'm a positive guy.
People are like,
There's
oh,
many reasons why I was in that relationship. I adore my ex-wife.
You want me to play some
No,
rock?
I'll let it play.
No, you're good. All right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm never getting my tattoo removed. You know, she was my wife. I care about her. She's the mother of my children.
You know how much I love you guys.
And we're getting along great. I love it.
Nobody told you it would be this hard when the love song reached its end. You know it really reached its start, yeah. On your knees and you're crying, so much worse than dying. It's the heart that makes it great. It's the heart that makes you hate love. I know you wanna run, I know you wanna run away. All or none, get your gun, bring it on, yeah, baby. When you love someone, bite your tongue, shed your blood, it's never enough. Yeah, baby, when you love someone, don't stop screaming. Long as you're breathing, never let them get away. Baby, when you love someone, picking up the pieces of our broken hearts. Never thought it'd get this bad. Never thought we'd fall apart. No, can't keep denying the real tears that you're crying. Nobody told you it was fair. Nobody warned you of despair. No, I know you wanna run. I know you wanna run away. All or none, get your gun, bring it on. Baby, when you love someone, bite your tongue, shake your blood, it's never enough. Yeah, baby, when you love someone, don't stop screaming. Long as you're breathing, never let them get away. Baby, when you love someone, all or none, get your gun, bring it on. Yeah, baby, when you love someone, bite your tongue, shake your blood, it's never enough. When you love someone, don't stop screaming. Long as you're breathing, never let them get away. Baby, when you love someone, oh, don't walk away. So much more to say. No, don't walk away. Much more to say. Please, baby, stay. Oh, don't walk away. So much more to say. No, don't walk away. Much more to say. Please, baby, stay. I know you wanna run. I know you wanna run away. All or none, get your gun, bring it on. Yeah, baby, when you love someone, bite your tongue, share blood is never enough. Yeah, baby, when you love someone, don't stop screaming. Long as you're breathing, never let them get away. Baby, when you love someone, all or none, get your gun, bring it on.
Thank you, Jesse.
Got your tongue shed, your blood
Come on,
is never
you fuck.
enough. Don't stop screaming, long as you're breathing, never let them get away. Nobody told you it would be this hard. When the love song reached its end, you know it really reached its start, yeah.
I want to ask everybody a question. Does screaming through your relationship sound like the best relationship to be in? The thing that I realized, about that song is, as well-meaning as it was, that there was some real truth to, like there being signs and, like there being some fundamental things wrong that kept leading to this sort of feeling of smashing your head against the wall. And as well-meaning and encapsulate, I tried to encapsulate that honorable man doing the right thing for their family and the person they love. I was trying to embody that as best I could, but really, when I looked and reflected on it after the fact, I was just sort of like, well, isn't this a sign of so much tension beneath the surface of like this relationship that seems worth fighting for? But maybe if we stopped fighting longer ago, we'd have already come back around to learn better lessons, maybe even come back around to be together again or something. Like who knows what might have happened if I let those tensions out and let them happen. Like with one of these relationships, that I had with a friend, I not that I blinded, I sensed that there was that energy of like the jealousy thing that could be there, and I made like a really concerted effort to just not trigger it. I'm just gonna never trigger it, and then I win. It was still there. It didn't matter that I never triggered it. It didn't matter. It was still there, and then eventually it came out, and like and it was just like, he's taking my love as I'm like trying to one up him or something. I don't get this. I'm just trying to love my friend. This is so frustrating. I don't know what to do here, and and that's that thing of like the realizing your momentum and where things are. So to wrap this thing up, I want to just talk about a suggestion that was made. One of our listeners said that I mean, I'm putting a bunch of words in their mouth, but let's say this is me being them. Jesse, I know that it's pretty easy for you to really wear your heart on your sleeve and talk about all these situations you've had where maybe you didn't look the best necessarily at that moment or feel the best at that moment and be vulnerable. But I don't want my damn name to anything that says anything about my personal life anywhere on the internet. And if you had a private submission box where I could submit questions that were, pertaining to this thing or something, that I'd be very interested in participating in the conversation, but I just don't feel comfortable as you. And I'm just making fun of myself and how comfortable I do tend to be because I really believe in normalizing a more deep and not emotional, but in tune conversation, where we're not afraid to touch upon the things that may make us emotional, because those are the things that are always being skirted by, and these are the things that create all that momentum underneath the surface. So how do we unwind this momentum? How do we get this stuff out? So understanding that it might be nice to have a place for you guys to write in questions, things that we could like bring up, because stories, you could change everybody's name and you could just give us their advice, ask for advice. I'm getting like my website refurbished, so I mean I could probably do it on my website soon enough. And Michael might even be able to help me figure that out.
You want me to put up your email address or something, or?
Well, I don't know, because if they send an email, essentially there's still like a layer of I know whose email it came from, whatever. Versus like if we could set
Oh,
up
you want something anonymous?
Yeah, it would be great if we could set up something, because
Interesting.
I just think more people would actually participate if we could legitimately make it
Okay.
anonymous.
We could. I have a couple of banners. We have the Patreon page. This is not 100% up, but
Yeah, so I mean, like, I figured me and you can think about it. I just wanted to remember. I knew
Okay.
this is something that was brought up, and I did think that, in this case, it's like, do you want to make a recommendation to the store about how they're doing their business? Like, let's put it in the box. Do you want to make a really personal story to get
Yeah,
people?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely, I got you.
Do you want to have it associated with you directly in the comments? Whatever it might be.
Hmm.
Um, you know, and I feel like we can actually maybe get some more details, some more actual, like, situations that would be good for talking about, and getting some of this information out. But thank you guys for joining us as per usual,
Yeah,
and yeah,
totally.
um, and thank you everybody who has been like tipping us every week. That's so cool. We really appreciate it, and we're just kind of putting that stuff forward into other little video projects and stuff that we're working on doing, and breaking up the universal laws classes and different things like that. We're really not trying to like profit from any of this stuff in any huge way, but we believe in the information. We like being a part of this conversation, and we want to just start to be, and try to keep it going, and hopefully maybe talk about some things that other people aren't necessarily talking about, the really hard things when it comes to human interaction, and figuring out some high level ways to interact, and setting the right intentions, as we said
Right.
today. That is the best way. And to set the intention in celebration, that whatever intention you set, it will easily come to pass. That's the richest way to do it. Ooh, I've got a new intention, and this will bring forth this thing into my reality.
Hmm.
And but at the same time, remember and recognize that when you're in more tense situations, with really good friends, people that you've known for a long time, when you're in situations with people who you've been working with for a long time, situations where a negative momentum of some kind has been created, in those instances, sometimes your intentions can betray you. And you really need to, when you feel like you're coming up against a mighty energy that won't go away, you really need to look. You guys are welcome, Ninja. Um, you need to look at it and go, what is really happening here? And if you don't know, sometimes just pulling back is best. That'll at least give you the space to maybe get inspired, or maybe give the other person the space for them to get inspired.
Hmm. Hmm.
And one for one of you to kind of come to Jesus, and be like, oh, or you know try not to fight big energy with more energy, more intention, because sometimes you end up just trying to wrestle a giant. The like, because they already have some muscly intent,
Hmm.
and then you're like, my intent is and then and you're gonna "Ah!" Sorry buddy, it's not that,
Hmm.
it's this, and I had already hulked up to strength of energy, and I will destroy anybody who comes in and tells me that it's different than it actually is. you know you
Yeah.
don't want to be in that situation, and that's the other side of intention. So the high level teaching is beware of the momentum, and always try to have a conscious intention when you are speaking, and even a conscious intention of what you're going to be getting out of people when you
Hmm.
go out to the world. These two
Hmm.
things will really help to make going out to the world a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
You will go out into a pretty place as soon as you decide that it is one.
Wonderfully put. Wonderfully put. I think exactly what you said. Be conscious that it's an energy exchange. You know, the next time somebody says, "How's it going?" Just be conscious of what the intention is both ways. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
words of wisdom, the wrap up. I love it. Awesome. Good job, buddy.
How's it going? It's going awesome. I really appreciate it's going awesome. I kind
Yeah.
of want to attract all the it's going awesome people, even
Yeah.
though I think that some people don't love it when they hear that. I don't know why, but I love hearing that. So I think me and Michael are just going to work on attracting all of the something awesome just happened. Yes. I want to meet everybody at the height of their exhilaration, and I just did some cocaine. Wow. Oh my God, man.
Uh, all right, guys. Well, thanks for coming, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, and what do we think? Thursday seem like a good day for us?
Probably Thursday, but we'll
'Cause I'm
put
gonna
out the word.
Mondays and Tuesdays.
If that's good for you, Thursday's good for me. Next Thursday, I'm heading to Tahoe.
Oh yeah, that's right. Uh,
Yeah.
well, can't we do it from there? You think you can get like a
I could probably do it from my laptop. Yeah.
yeah? Well,
We'll figure that out. All
or
right.
at the very least, maybe we'll have it as a floating day, and we'll let people know where we're
Sounds
gonna.
good,
But
man.
anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. Joining us again next week. We're gonna just continue this conversation about human interactions from a universal law and spiritual perspectives.
Yeah, man. Here's our song.
Oh wait, we're still here.
No, we're going.
Okay, we're gone.